All right, we are back. I hope everyone enjoyed that Red Storm Bonanza that I had up there, and now we're ready to move back to some World War II here. I want to do an example of some special rules in Where Eagles Dare, which I thought was kind of weird that these weren't in the normal rule book. It's like a special thing only in the Where Eagles Dare rule book, so it's kind of odd. But I wanted to talk about something pretty cool that happened a lot. Of course, you see this all the time in old pictures. Piggybacking, which I think is it's awesome that it's in this game. If you're interested in some of the history on these units, I'll put it up on the screen here, but there's a good book about the pain in the butt this whole unit was, this Kampfgruppe Walter, and what all they went through. I think it came out in 2017, but I'll find the Amazon picture and all that and show you the title of it. It's really good. The hardcover is like fetching a ridiculous price right now on Amazon. But there's some good history in there, as long as there's also some good info that you can find out there on the King's Royal Hussars, which is this unit here. That's a Cromwell tank. And you can find out some pretty cool stuff, even online, you know, just a general search. But I'll put that picture up, and let me get back to the rules here, and I'll show you what's going on with this piggybacking. I decided to use a Jagdpanzer from the Abteilung 2107 Kampfgruppe Walter. We're going to be using this and some Fallschirmjägers from, I think that's a Fallschirmjäger. Is that a regiment? Yeah, I believe so. I can barely, God. Oh man, that is bad. Okay, so we're going to use this infantry to piggyback on this unit. And there's some basic rules, and you want to also note that no one with an organic transport can use piggybacking. And organic transport is where, when you flip this counter over, you'll see a truck, and it's basically, you know, built into the unit that like Panzer Grenadiers, or you can get into half tracks and things like that. So I just made sure that this one does not have that. Also, you can't have more steps. You can't be trying to transport more steps than the actual vehicle actually has steps there. And once again, I lost my tweezers. All right, tweezers were over on table 2 with Barbarossa Crimea. Okay, so this would be legal, no organic there. And that's kind of what the units we're dealing with. Kampfgruppe Walter here is featured in the game, and this is like a mishmash of units that they put together to try to stop some Allied attacks during Operation Market Garden. Down here we have the King's Royal Hussars, a Cromwell tank, and I mainly put him out here because piggybacking will trigger opportunity fire. So I just wanted to kind of stick him there, but never fear. I shift things a little bit there so he had a block line of sight. I did put a Cromwell out here because the piggybacking will trigger opportunity fire, but I wanted to make sure line of sight was blocked actually. So it passes through red circle in the middle, that's town. So that's going to be, and I mean just barely, that's going to be blocked. It's amazing how once you set all this up, things don't always look exactly like you think they're going to be. That's close. That is blocked. The little tan ones here, this is a village that does not block line of sight. Okay, so with piggybacking, a few things to remember here. We're going to move up and go here. I also noticed in this book, in the Grand Tactical Series, I don't think I could find it right away, but they do tell you how to pronounce these towns in the back of the book, which is pretty swell, I think. I'm going to move this down just a little bit here so I can get closer to the microphone. I thought it was kind of neat that they do tell you the town pronunciations. I'm not sure if that one's back here. Let me take a look. Let's see how bad I can massacre this. They may not have it back here. No, they don't. I'm not even going to try then. Yeah, I think they only have the major towns back here. A guide to pronouncing market garden locations. Yeah, I'm not even going to try that. Some brave soul in the comments can just type that out there phonetically or whatever. Let me know that word. Not really sure what that is. I'm not even going to try it. I think I could do this one. Maybe? You guys want to laugh here? Lagapeel? Langaboom? I don't know. I know this one. Zealand. Even I can get that. Okay. Yeah, so we're looking at piggybacking here, and we're going to show you a few rules on that. Now, remember, as a refresher, your movement rating is here, and the type of movement it's colored in, so that would be tracked. And you use this here, kind of tells you match that color. All right. Now, the piggybacking rules are exclusive to, well, they're not exclusive, but they're in the Eagles Dare book, and I'm sure that other versions of the game probably have piggybacking. I do have No Question of Surrender and not related, Fold a Gap. I kind of consider a GTS game, but, you know, it's not supposed to be. It's technically Compass games, and it's almost the same. Okay, so we're dealing here with this. And piggybacking is pretty cool. You can actually start in piggyback mode. To mount up piggyback, the two units must start in the same hex. So I'm going to put them together like so. Actually, let's do this. We'll just put them side by side. It takes an entire movement action by both units to piggyback. So when a unit starts in piggyback mode, the two units move as one, but only when the vehicle's activated. So there's a scenario 2, for example, they start in piggyback and you can activate the vehicle and then you move, etc. like that. Now the town here for tracked is, or the village costs 4. So you can move through this, but you cannot go, I don't know, if you're on a road, you're fine, but I think you have to go in a column or something like that. Yeah, that might be a problem. Let me check track again here. Town is, yeah, you have to be in column to move in here. So I'm actually going to probably avoid that and go around this way. And I would say that once you get right about here, of course, that would trigger opportunity fire. So in our example, we're just going to avoid getting blasted there. So we'll piggyback up here. And you can either start that way according to the scenario, or you can enter that mode. Both units' entire movement action. Now, when if you want to exit piggyback mode, I thought this was kind of cool. When the vehicle activates, he has to expend at least half of his printed movement allowance. The infantry unit can then dismount, and the vehicle unit completes its activation. So, yeah, it doesn't say to round up or down. I have to find that somewhere. We'll say he expends half of it. He's got 13. And we'll say he uses 6. So he can use 6 of his movement, dismount the infantry. Okay. And then if you look on your terrain chart for clear and tracked, if they're not in column, it's 2. So we'll give him like 7 left. And then you go 2, 4. Yeah, I would probably stop there because, I mean, the Cromwell's going to take an opportunity shot if you move any further. And you can see my other video for that stuff. So you could dismount, you know, expend half of your movement, then go ahead and finish your activation. This infantry unit cannot be in column. When you dismount, you cannot be in column mode. Now, if we had a situation like this, let's reset everything and put the Cromwell tank here. We'll put him here. I made that mistake in my last video of putting one in a town. Well, a village he could go into. A village, now, you might notice that this counter says no for no movement. That's because I pulled him out of a scenario 2. So just kind of ignore that for now. Say he has a, you know, normal movement value on there. Now, village here, this gray one, he would be tracked, of course. And he is allowed to go into this column or non-column, but it would cost 4 to go into here. So we'll actually put him in here. He's sitting in the town, covering this road. Now, if you dismount, spend half your movement, dismount, that triggers opportunity fire. I don't think... Yeah, that would be a shot right there. That village does not block line of sight. Blocking terrain is N. So if you look on your movement chart here, you kind of find village and you go over to the blocking terrain column, it says no. So that would trigger a shot. Very dangerous. So just be mindful of that. If the Cromwell did want to take a shot, the German player doesn't have to worry about it. The Cromwell's only got a range of 3. So you're safe there. But if you did want to take a shot, say he was here, 1, 2, 3. Say if he was here and he wanted to take a shot. Now let me make sure that's not blocked. It's very hard to set these pretend things up. Sometimes yeah, there we go. If he was here and he did want to take a shot, please keep in mind that the player taking the opportunity fire can decide when to shoot, before or after the dismount. If you do this afterwards, only the infantry is going to be the target. Otherwise, the vehicle is going to be the target. So the opportunity firing person gets to pick when he's going to pop that shot out there. All right, some other things to note. These units are never active. So when the active vehicle unit dismounts the inactive infantry unit, the infantry unit cannot perform any actions until its next activation. The active vehicle unit can perform a second action if eligible, even after infantry dismounts. Okay, now there are some restrictions on piggybacking, right? You didn't think it'd be that easy, did you? There's more. One infantry unit can piggyback on one vehicle unit at a time. That we kind of figured that. The vehicle unit has to have at least as many steps as the infantry, and I cleared that. You can see the steps are the red dots. If you remember from my previous intro video, they are equal. And when these are together, like so, they count as one unit for stacking purposes, but both count against the mass modifier in that hex. And a vehicle cannot perform any action other than move while in piggyback mode, and yes, that includes assault and opportunity fire. Infantry units with an organic transport can never piggyback, and that's why I picked one without a truck on the other side. So just keep that in mind. Now I think in scenario 2, I can't remember, they start someone piggybacked, and I was thinking that might not be allowed, but maybe they say that you can go ahead and do that in this scenario. Let me just check here, because some of these guys do have organic transport. Oh, no, he doesn't. Okay, I thought maybe he did. There is one German unit here in scenario 2 that's got it. I was looking, here we go. Here's an example of organic transport. So if you see this Panzer Grenadier unit, right, you go here, you can see he's got a half-track on the back. 16 movement. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. So just some little rules to take a note of. Now, the cool thing about this is, what if you get popped when you're carrying infantry on here? And I had that question the first time I did scenario 2. That could lead to some interesting things, because you got some troops sitting on top of that tank. And so that does bring up some interesting questions. When you get fired on by direct or indirect fire and airstrikes, units in piggyback mode count both for the mass modifier, and the infantry unit and the vehicle unit suffer the same fire combat die roll as if they were fired on separately. But you just apply the roll first to one and then the other. So you don't have to roll twice. You just, whatever the hit is, you apply it to this guy and then the next guy. Any terrain modifiers or marker modifiers for the vehicle also apply for the infantry. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So it's kind of like a layered thing. It hits and it moves on to the next layer. So now, if either unit takes a fire result, remember that S question mark is possible suppression. If you pass that, there's no effect. The infantry unit must dismount. This does not trigger opportunity fire. So say they get hit and take a suppression or cohesion. This infantry unit has to dismount, okay? But that will not trigger opportunity fire. And you'll apply that immediately. The unit dismounts immediately, and the combat results are then applied. So if you took a cohesion hit, it would be cohesion hit vehicle, dismount, and then, we got to get off of here, and then cohesion hit. Now, if you get assaulted, you have to dismount when the assault is declared, and then you perform the assault procedure as normal, starting with opportunity fire from the units being assaulted. And keep in mind that if you do a dismount and it causes overstacking, this unit will get eliminated, the infantry unit. If the vehicle is piggybacking and gets hit with indirect fire like a mortar shot, it'll cause a mandatory dismount. The infantry unit suffers the result of the indirect fire die roll along with the vehicle unit, but does not also take the suppression result that other units in the hex have to take. So there's a few little niggles of special rules in there for the piggybacking. But that's about it. I just wanted to kind of point that out. It's a rule that's only in the, I only own 2 games right now. I've pre-ordered Devil's Cauldron, but in the one that I own, the exclusive rules, piggybacking is in there, and it's on page, if you want to look it up, if you own the game. You can check it out on page 19, near the bottom right. And I only bring this up because it kind of threw us off. It said units start in piggyback mode, and we had only been reading the base rulebook, and we're like, piggyback mode, what the hell is that? We were looking through here for like, how could you not have rules for infantry sitting, on top of a tank and riding it? And then we found it in the actual game-specific rules. A little bit weird, but I don't know. You think that would be in every game? Okay, so that's it. That's the piggyback rules. So just a heads up. Scenario 2 does start you with some units in piggyback so you can get them to their area faster. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this. We're going to be doing more GTS. We're going to be doing some Starkweather titles. We're going to look at this one in Fold a Gap. I just don't know if I want to do World War II or Modern. So I got to figure that out. But Table 2 is Barbarossa, Crimea. I won't be approaching that anytime soon. I'm going to relax for a little bit on that and focus on some other titles. All right, thanks for watching as always, and I'll be uploading some random stuff all week, hopefully.